up? And welcome back to the Unfiltered Trainer podcast. I'm your host, Gina, aka Gina Marie Fit. And my goal in today's episode is to get through this episode without coughing. So in the last episode, I was overcoming an illness I had during the holiday season. And for some reason, in the state of Florida, I am freezing. I am literally sitting here with the heating pad on me. It has been the coldest I think it's ever been since I've lived here. So of course it's become my whole personality, because if you know me, you know that I cannot stand being cold. And part of that is because with my lungs and the way they are, I can't catch my breath when it's cold. Everything I'm doing is exhausting. And then you add on the fact that in Florida, it's gray. And I'm not talking for one day. It's been gray for days. And if you know where I moved from, Northwest Pennsylvania, you know it's downright depressing from October until May. And I pay what I like to tell people when people give me a hard time about complaining about being cold in Florida. I pay a premium to live here to not be this cold. Like nobody has the right clothes for the weather we're experiencing. So it's been my entire personality. I've complained every single day since I've been back from Christmas. And I will continue to complain because this should not happen here. But here's where I will put a positive spin on it. It has forced me to be inside. And it's one of those things that at the end of last year, one of my generalized goals was to spend more time at my apartment, because for the last year, I have been spending what I'm spending and I've never been here. I literally leave at 4:20 in the morning. And most days I was getting home, it was like 8 p.m. So I would eat, shower, and go to bed. And that was my life for the last year. So I paid all of this money for this beautiful space that I perfectly curated, in my opinion. I just love my apartment. It's the place that I have the most peace. When I come here, it's like everything is okay. And I've never had a consistent home like that gave me that feeling that was mine, like that I was responsible for. And so it's funny because I did wish for this. Probably should have specified, to the universe and all that is above to not be at because of the weather being cold. However, it's also given me a lot of time to sit down, really plan out what it is that I'm doing. Where do I want my life to go? One of my friends gave me one of those big ass calendars that it's the size of a wall. You can see the entire year. And I've been watching the video that went along with that calendar and really just thinking to myself, okay, you have goals, but let's not make these goals the same as they've been every other year. And I say that because in one of the videos I watched, he made this statement that you can't just wake up and wing it. How many of you, myself included, have set lofty goals, but then didn't have a consistent plan that you followed, and you were literally winging it? Whether it's social media, your marketing plan, your long-term goals for your business. How many of you out there are winging your business? And at the same time, wondering why things aren't growing or changing. Something I have done in the past is come out the gate hot, planned, excited, and then once I faltered from my plan, instead of just going back to the plan the next day, I've lost so much time that I start winging it or just completely disregard my goals thinking, oh, that wasn't meant for me. Oh, I'm not capable. When in reality, and you can think I am crazy for saying this, But the other day, I was on TikTok, and if TikTok gets banned, I'm going to be so upset because it's the app that I have learned the most on. I watched a video, and the person that was in this video, I had this moment of alignment that almost terrified me because that video I knew was meant for me. And it was some person I didn't even follow, like nothing, just some random person. Came up on my For You page. I watched this video, and 24 hours later, exactly what was in that video happened in my life. And in my heart of hearts, when it all happened, I was literally sobbing after the fact because I know in my heart this is my year. This is my year that everything I wasn't capable of doing in the last year because my focus was recovery is going to happen but tenfold because I've been playing small. I've done the work. I've put in the time. I've never not stopped grinding in some way or another, even through a TBI. But I'm well equipped to make the 17 goals I've written down happen. And I've already made a couple of those goals happen, and it's only January 10th. And that just tells me, compared to last year, like I said in the last episode, last year, I couldn't even make a vision board. I had no direction for my life, and I was just trying to survive. That is not how you're supposed to live your life. And so when this happened the other day, it reaffirmed everything I knew. And it's why we're doing this episode in this series this week. Because this whole month, we're just going to literally, I'm talking game changer, mindset shifts, set the tone for your year. And I'm also going to have my first interview. We're filming it on Monday, going to a studio and everything with my little professional mics that I ordered. Like it's going to happen. And you'll get to hear this person's story coming up. But we're going to truly write that line in the sand. We're going to leave behind everything that has happened, take the resources, the education, and the tools we need, and we're going to completely transform every single aspect of our life. So if you're ready to go, it's time to dive in to this week's episode 43, titled, What If You Knew You Couldn't Fail? Taking Action on Your Goals. What is one thing that's super important is to make the shift from self-doubt to unstoppable confidence. Because for most of us seasoned individuals, you already know at this point who you are, what you stand for, what you've been through, and you know in your heart where you want to go. You just have self-limiting beliefs that you have to rid yourself out of so you can fully commit to going to this next level. The power of self-belief, when you let go of fear of failure and you embrace the idea that success is inevitable, your mindset shifts, and as a result, so does your life. Believing that you can't fail helps remove the pressure. It allows you to act with confidence, even in the face of challenges. Things are going to happen regardless of how well planned out we will be. But when you know where you're going and you know what you're accomplishing, you'll also have that inherent belief that the challenges are part of the plan. And you are going to make it happen regardless of any challenge you face this year. In order to do this, you have to transform past failures into your fuel. They have got to be the catalyst for your success. Every past failure is a lesson, not a limitation. You have to reflect on what you've learned from the past resolutions or goals that didn't go as planned and use that knowledge to build a stronger, more determined version of yourself moving forward. And then you have to truly learn to embrace celebrating every small win. Confidence doesn't come from one big success. It's built in the small victories, the daily habits, the checking of the to-do lists, because every single time you check something off that list, you get one step closer to that inevitable, very big goal. But you can't have one big goal without smaller goals. So you have to recognize and celebrate each step, no matter how small, to build momentum for success so that it reinforces your ability to achieve bigger goals. So we're 10 days into the year, right? Every single time something has worked out that's been planned, whether it's a meeting, something has happened to put me more in alignment in the goals, dreams, and desires I have, or in the moments where just something works out, whether it's a parking space or you go to the store and you find what you're looking for. That is such a problem living here. I have taken the time to stop what I'm doing instead of just moving on to the next thing and express gratitude. And it really does leave you feeling lighter. There's this heaviness I was living with last year that I don't have. It is honestly so shocking because being genuinely happy is something I've struggled with my entire life. And just knowing in these moments, you are exactly where you are. This is exactly how this was supposed to happen. Your entire plan is one step closer to achievement. You are in alignment. You are going places. It just gives you a little pep in your step to make that next goal happen a little faster. Because when you live in a state of gratitude and appreciation for your existence and all that you have, it just makes life genuinely easier to tolerate. Instead of just having to get through your days, even the hiccups you tolerate better. It really is such a simple concept. But every single time you hit one of these goals we're going to talk about, I highly encourage you to take a second to breathe and meditate on the experience, how you feel, the process you took to get there, and the feeling you feel knowing that big goal, it's one step closer. It truly is so invigorating. So now, we've established the fact that we have to shift from self-doubt to unstoppable confidence. When you do, it's time to establish powerful, I wish I could bold that statement, powerful goals that are aligned with your true vision. My friends, I'm going to say this before we break down how I set goals. When you set your goals, take out a blank sheet of paper, put on like soft music, something inspiring, not distracting, not stressful, not reality television. Don't do this around other people. When you do this, you have to be able to let go and allow your mind to wander, because you are going to write down a series of goals that light you up. Instead of setting goals based on external expectations, societal norms, we're creating powerful goals that resonate deeply with your values, your passion, and what is set on your heart. I want you to ask yourself these questions. What truly excites me? What would make me feel alive? If nothing would stop me, what would be my ideal life? What would I accomplish? Where would I be? Who would be there? The goal setting guide that I'm finishing editing takes you through this even deeper and is more effective. But for the general terms of this podcast, close your eyes, take a nice deep breath, really think about who you are and who you wanted to be before society told you who you are and what you couldn't do. And then I want you to just start writing things down. You don't have to do anything crazy yet. Just write down a series of ideas, events, vacations, income. Just who are you? Who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? What do you want your life to look like? And then we're going to use that as the framework for which you actually develop what are called SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Some people say time-based. These are important because after you dream big, you then break those dreams down into actionable steps. I like to call this reverse engineering. Take the big goal, establish the framework for your aspirations to feel real. They have to feel tangible. And that is why when you have this like dream meditation manifestation moment, you can't be distracted, because if you're around people or you're in an environment that does not make you feel like you belong, you're going to feel as if your goals can't happen, and you will let those self-limiting beliefs limit your ability to establish your right dreams. So when you use this as the framework to make your aspirations real, tangible, and then you're going to take that visualization one step further, and you are going to visualize your future self. I want you to envision what would it feel like to have already achieved that entire list of goals. What are you doing? How do you feel? This kind of deep visualization creates what is called a mental roadmap that makes your goals more tangible and motivates you to take real action. So at first you're thinking, well, didn't we just do this? But when you write your goals down first, then you work on reverse engineering. You see that those goals aren't actually that much, not far away, not much harder to make happen, because now you have the framework. So now that you've sparked this little happy moment in your brain, now I want you to really think about how you would feel when all of this happens, because it is going to happen. That's what's crazy, is at the end of this year, we are going to have a celebratory podcast, because I know I'm hitting every single goal and then some. And I cannot wait to hear about your goals and hear about how you're doing in less than a year. Now, here's the third part. And I know I feel like there's a lot of people that fully embrace this concept and people that truly hate it. Creating a vision board and setting the right environment for success, in my opinion, freakishly works. And I say freakishly because years ago I made a Pinterest board. And I made a Pinterest board about my ideal apartment, what it would look like, the things I would have, and one specific thing I remember were these plates from Anthropologie, and they are expensive. And I remember thinking, one day I'm going to have a home. I'm going to have all these things on this Pinterest board, and I'm going to have these plates. And I couldn't explain to you what it is about these plates. But for me to buy Anthropologie dinnerware, that was huge for me. When I moved into this apartment, I literally had my clothes, a shelf that I had spray painted, some knickknacks, and that was it. I truly told myself, this is the moment that we are going to set up a home to be proud of, that we confidently can say is ours. No one's taking it away. And it's going to be designed exactly to my aesthetic. Mind you, I made that Pinterest board probably 10 years ago, and I forgot about it. And then when I moved into this apartment a couple years ago, I looked at that Pinterest board for some reason. Do you know that everything on that Pinterest board I have? And I didn't remember. I remembered the plates. But when I look at my mirror, I didn't know my mirror was from Urban Outfitters on the Pinterest board. I just saved a photo. I have that mirror. The aesthetic, the colors, the paintings, the way the wood ties in, that is exactly the vibe of that Pinterest board. And all those little knickknacks and things, I have them. And it literally was the freakiest moment because I didn't realize that I was manifesting my dream space. Last year, I didn't create a vision board because I had no vision for my life. I just wanted to survive, which makes a lot of sense why I did accomplish things, but in disarray, in the most disorganized fashion that my little brain would allow. And so on New Year's Eve night, it's kind of crazy, but I made a vision board. And then I wrote a book. And you're like, what? Yes, I wrote a book. I wrote a book that I'm calling The Badass Blueprint. And I'm finishing the edits. I talked about it in the last episode a little bit, but I want to provide affordable resources this year that help others do what I've done in an expedited fashion so that you can accomplish your goals and not take nearly as long as I took being so stubborn and difficult in my head. And one of those things is utilizing a vision board as a manifestation tool. To create a vision board, it's not about cutting out pretty pictures from a magazine. It's the process of consciously choosing the life you want to build, finding the images, the quotes, the symbols that align with those goals that you wrote down, and then use this as a daily reminder of what you're working towards. Now, a lot of people say different ways to do this. I am on my computer every day, all the time. So I use my vision board on Canva, and it's my screensaver of my computer. So every single day when I go to log into my computer, I stop, I pause, I remind myself, and remember, what are we doing? Why are we working hard? Where are we going? What do we need to achieve? When you surround yourself with positivity, your environment plays a huge role in how you feel and how motivated you are. When you surround yourself with like-minded people, supportive people, you curate a physical space that not only aligns with your goals, but it ensures that you are in the surroundings that will energize and inspire you to continue to push past any adversity you may experience and continue to persevere until you have achieved everything you sought out to achieve and more. What's really important is accountability and action. Having a vision is important because you can pair it with accountability, which becomes crucial. So I want you to, and this is like your takeaway for the day, I want you to share your goals with somebody you trust, whether it's a mentor, a coach, somebody that can guide you, hold you accountable, and isn't going to be somebody that deters you or is jealous because you're going places. Taking action on your vision board items every single day, even if it's just a small step, creates momentum and it helps you stay aligned with your true path. So I really want you to think about your circle, the people you associate with, the people you spend your time with. Are they the kind of people that inspire you to be better? Are they the kind of people you would trade places with? And I listened to this in a podcast the other day, not a podcast, an Audible book. And this statement stopped me in my tracks. It said, if the people in your life aren't people you're willing to trade places with, why are they in your life? And I literally was shook by that statement because it's the truth. Because whether the people in your life you aspire to be their levels of success, financial stability, family, relationship, friendship, or they're just the kind of people that inspire and like make you want to be a better person. If the people in your inner circle aren't bringing anything to the table that you benefit from, and you're not bringing anything to the table that they benefit from, this goes back to the last episode. Time to cut ties with those who do not match your energy, because they are just going to suck the life out of you. Because there's nothing worse than people that have animosity and passive-aggressive tendencies towards the people in their life. I've dealt with this in my life, and I'm sure you've dealt with this too. When people claim, quote unquote, that they're fine, or that they're not bothered by something, or they're over something. This is why sometimes I can't stand social media. If you were over something, you wouldn't be posting quotes about it. If you were really over something, you wouldn't have to be announcing it like they announce departures at the airport. When you're good and you're healed, you're living your life. You've moved on. You don't have to post those quotes knowing damn well you're posting it in hopes that the person that you want to say what you want to say to is going to see it instead of just saying what you need to say. And this is not me calling anybody out other than myself. I have done this. I have been this person who wants to act like they're not bothered. And I remember doing this particularly with the male in my life. And then I'm posting quotes. Clearly, I'm salty. And I got nothing out of that. I just got mad. When you are healed and whole and unbothered, actually unbothered, you won't even think about that person. You won't even think about that situation. I realized this the other day about myself. There was somebody that did me real dirty last year. And I always tell people say, why don't you tell your side? Honestly, people that do things like that have happened to me, I don't need to do anything because God and karma and the universe make things right. What people say, and I've said this so many times, what people say about you has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. And if you are a genuinely good, kind-hearted person who means well, who obviously has human hiccups, as I like to call them, where we have missteps and failures, we are not perfect, but we try to be better. When you are that type of person and something happens in your life where people want to speak on your name instead of just saying it to your face, you got to just keep letting it ride and keep moving forward. Because those are the kind of people that will hold you back, who will never be genuinely happy for you in your life. And that is the sad part, because sometimes it could be family, it could be close friends, it could be coworkers, and it makes it awkward because you can't always remove those people from your life. That's what we talked about in the last episode about setting boundaries, especially for those that like you can't actually truly remove in your life. But this is important because when you get to a place of healing, it's just easier to bless and release and just wish the best for those people, even if they're not in your life anymore. Then the passive aggressive bullshit goes away and all becomes right in the world again, and you feel lighter. So if you're somebody that is struggling to let go of something or heal from something, and you find yourself in that space as a keyboard warrior, refrain from posting and do the introspective work to learn why you're so triggered by something, why you continually put the blame on other people, and really reevaluate your life, your actions, and your part in that scenario or situation. Because I know I had a part in the scenarios I have spoken about on this podcast, and in the times when I can't have closure because those people are no longer in my life, or I don't want to subject myself to certain people anymore who are toxic. you have to do the work and figure out how you could have been better too. Because at the end of the day, it's easy to point blame and point fingers, but you need to turn that finger around and take accountability for your part in the scenarios that happen in our life. Because when you do, those small little, what might seem like you're like, Gina, why is this so important for goal setting? Until you release those things, you repeat cycles in your life. And you realize that when you're repeating cycles, you're experiencing more setbacks. And then you finish the year short on your goal list. So I say all of that to say, my goal this year is to make more of an impact and to genuinely be a better human being. And in order to do that, those little tendencies have to go away. The self-limiting doubt, the self-limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, lacking confidence when you know damn well you're doing the most. All those times when we so freely second guess ourselves, change our subconscious, and we, without thinking about it, revisit those thoughts more than we realize. So I really want you to take the time as you're writing down your goals, as you're thinking about your vision board, as you're healing from the experiences you had in previous years, take the time to really allow yourself closure, fulfillment, and then revisit the strategies involved with writing out your goals, envisioning your future self, and notice if those change. Your goals might get a little bit bigger, almost outlandish. When I wrote down my goals, I even thought to myself, you couldn't do that, because I'm still being dictated by titles and limitations, because I wasn't aware that you could succeed at this level in such a diverse category of a field I never even intended that I would be in. So goal setting, establishing foundations and boundaries, all of these things come together for overall quality of life. And that should be, honestly, on everybody's vision board, is to just have better quality of life, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Because that is actually the game changer to make everything else possible. But we just always put it to the side. We compromise our nutrition, our intake and hydration. We skip our workouts. We limit our sleep. And as all of that's happening, cortisol is rising, hormones are changing, weight's fluctuating. Then we don't like what we see in the mirror, so we start these self-destructive habits. It all goes hand in hand. And to be the kind of person you want to finish this year with, you really have to take a step back, reevaluate, re-envision, reignite, and then confidently take that step forward to make sure that at the end of this year, there's nothing left on your list of things you want to accomplish, because the year you're going to end with is truly going to be better than anything you could have ever envisioned. I hope this episode leaves you feeling empowered, ready to take action and accountability. I hope this helps you remove your self-limiting beliefs, and it leaves you imagining a reality where failure isn't an option. I hope you learn to break free from the cycles of past disappointment and start to take real, purposeful steps towards the life that you've always dreamed of, even if it's the one secretly in your heart like mine was. With clear goals, an inspiring vision, and a relentless belief in your own success, you will become unstoppable in 2025. And I personally cannot wait to hear all about it. All right, y'all, you know the drill. Stay tuned. We will chat soon.